Hello and welcome to the Glenalga International High School Psychology Stage 2 site. I would like to introduce this to you so we can practice working around. There is a link you can find here. Just search sites.google.com/site Glenalga International Sci ST2/home, and you're going to be able to find it. It's open for you, and this is the site the viewer, the student, can see. I opted this over the Moodle because I can organize and control it above and beyond the Moodle management, and I can add videos YouTube that I publish and you can watch anytime at home. It's quicker, and I have the search engine here, so whatever you need to find, if you cannot find easily, you can search over here. That's amazing facility. So this is what we're going to do this year in semester 1, term 1 and term 2. We're going to finish Intro to Psychology, Social Cognition, Learning and Personality topics, and then term 3 we're going to finish Altered States and Healthy Minds, and then we have September holidays, 2 weeks for revision, and the exams are there. It's very important for you therefore to finish most of the work in this part. 2/3 of the work they have to finish here. Everything will be busy in term 3. I'm not intending to let people not having finished work this time. Semester 1, in the Introduction to Psychology, we have one major assignment, which is weighting 5% of your total grade for the SACE grade. And we have a group assignment, which is the investigation, the group investigation. And we also have, that's due this term, and we have also another group assignment, which is the social cognition. The tasks are already there, however, I'm not presenting them now because it's not fair until everybody gets them. I need you to understand that in biology we have to study everything at these 4 levels: the basic biological level, the basic process level, the personal level, and the socio-cultural level of explanation. And we're going to do the topics in this order. I need you to understand that this order and this order is the correct. This site has been created last year and I have used a different order. This is why I cannot actually change the topics. However, you can click from here and that will take you where you are. We start the lesson by discussing something very important: basic introduction to the 4 levels of explanation in biology. In order to do that, from the intro page, you go to the 4 levels of explanation page, which is this, and everything we are going to discuss is presented here with examples. These are the points I want you to learn off by heart, and I'm going to discuss in a PowerPoint soon. And these are the videos I want you to be able to watch in order to understand some biological components and how the brain is responding to specific hormones. All this information will be found in the PowerPoint I'm going to present, and here you will be able to download answers and questions related to our activities. So we're going to start with the basic PowerPoint, which is you can download download from there, and I will be referring through the PowerPoint between the lessons and the site. Okay, let's start. I want you to understand that when we're discussing the 4 levels of explanation, you need to remember specific things, and you need to remember mainly that the human behavior can be observed and studied from different viewpoints anytime. And the psychology at this age, at this time, concentrates on the 4 perspectives. We see the person, and we call them levels of explanation. You need to remember that's a different side. You can see a different person acting in a different way, and a reason for all this if you see the 4 levels. So which are the 4 levels? It's the biological and the personal level, of course the basic process, and the social level. I want you to remember that biological is who you are from your genes and what chemicals or other biological, physiological characteristics are happening to your body, or reactions are happening to your body, and can impact on the way you are thinking first, and this is basic process. And because this can impact on the way you're thinking, and it happens again and again and again, it's becoming a learning and a memory and a specific perception, and then impacts on your personal level of explanation, changing your personal characteristics. For example, biological level, I am stressed and I'm always working full of adrenaline at high level blood pressure and heart rate. So I'm getting to learn and remember only this way of reacting. Always stressed, always upset, always working at a higher heart rate, always relaxing minimum, and always full on adrenaline. So this impacts my personality, and my personality longs to be always full of adrenaline, always acting, always upbeat. And therefore, I'm seeking acceleration, I'm seeking thrill that keeps my biological component, my physiological measurements high. And this would be a result of what my society is presenting or asking from me to be in a specific time. The society wants me to be thinking and be a person that it is full speed on and acting all the time quick. So whatever I choose to do at the biological level, whatever I choose to do in the basic process level, and the personal and the social level, becomes me. This is a person. But I'm not just this part here only, or this part here. Me actually is this, where the biological and the personal and the basic process and the social level coincide. So if I'm going to speak about me and my way of acting, I'm going to speak about this little part in here, where everything meets. So this is what we're going to discuss about the levels, and we start from the biological level because we are, as humans, a result of what is the feelings and the reactions and what's happening to our biological brain, this part of our body. So when you discuss the 4 levels of explanation in a scenario, I would like you to start discussing about the genetics, so the inherited characteristics. But I want you to do this only if it is very obviously connected to the scenario you are given. For example, if I will give you a scenario telling you that Alex is a 55-year-old female that has in her family history bipolar disease, then you know that genetically I'm predisposed the same way. I have freckles the same way. I have red hair and red and brown eyes. I'm genetically predisposed to experience bipolar. So that could be a reason of my highs and my lows in my mood. Have that in your mind. So genetics is the first you have to look. And then, of course, genetics, you know what it is. It is the pool of your genes and a combination, and actually it tells you or gives you who you are. And if you are this person here, it's because all these previous characteristics that have been inherited to you. And then you can start talking about the brain structures and neurotransmitters. When we're talking about brain structures, I would like you to be able to understand and use terms like frontal lobe. So you can tell them that dopamine is impacting on Alexandra's front lobe, and it gives the feeling of satisfaction. And of course, with the neurotransmitters, I presume that we all know, and if we don't know, we will need to learn the way the neurotransmitters are firing. And this is, for those who don't remember, this is the synapse, the end of a neurotransmitter, where the chemicals, the neurotransmitters, are fired from a neuron to another neuron. So the end of a neuron, it's a synaptic gap here, and from synapse to synapse the neurotransmitters are fired. So we have through the action potential, through the electricity. So we really have this neuron which has the synapse, the end of it, and the action and the dendrites. I want you to imagine that this is the neuron, something like the brain cell, connects to each other through this synaptic gap, transferring and transforming stuff. I will put up a video into the website if you email me and tell me that you don't know how the synapses are working. So when you talk about brain structures and neurotransmitters, that means you are commenting on, as we said, how the neurons are firing and how this message is moving across the nerves. And I want you to remember that this chemical, this neurotransmitter, it is coming through the impulse from the nerve, and it is ready to go outside here, and it is opened the channel when they reach this part of the synapse. The receptors in this part receiving them, some they are lost, the receptors are receiving them, and then this impulse is going to the next neuron, to the next targeted cell. This is how the chemicals are passing from one neuron to another in amazing speed. So this is what we're telling about moving across. And of course you need to explain to us that these chemicals that they go across sometimes can be substituted by drugs. So when we're talking about the neurotransmitters such as norepinephrine, that they go from this synapse to another, and we know that they can affect our concentration and our energy because norepinephrine is adrenaline. this can give me anxiety, okay, or impulsivity or irritability. So at the biological level, if I know that my anxiety is because I feel now more energetic due to adrenaline, I can control it. I can take a deep breath. I can be able to master what's happening in my mind. So norepinephrine is the one. Serotonin is the opposite. Serotonin, when it is fired and is impacting on your obsessions and your compassions, can make you feel good and controls your appetite. Serotonin can make you, because you feel good, eat more, can make you feel good and need sex or feel good about sex, or when stops your aggression. Because you feel good, you are not aggressive. At the same time, dopamine, it's another neurotransmitter that it is giving you the motivation drive. I want you to understand that those who are working on dopamine, it's like rewarding themselves. And they find the motivation. Imagine that you have a good grade in something and you want to take it further and become better. This is what we really need to do and how we need to explain. And I want you to understand also that drugs can have impacts on our brain, and when we're talking about drugs, we can talk about alcohol, sorry, or sugar that can make me obese, or cocaine. And of course, these are impacting on the structure of the brain, on the brain structures, and substitute neurotransmitters. So the cocaine is giving satisfaction, substitutes dopamine for the person who is taking it. Or the food works like dopamine for me. My sugar is my poison, is my drug, and makes me feel good, less anxious, motivated, have pleasure, okay, pay attention, feeling good, having good mood. So I want you to be able to understand and explain that within your scenario. Okay? For example, in the scenario we have about MacGyver and Top Gun, when the alcohol, the beer, is getting into the brain, the blood stream, can relax him. Yes, because it's just a beer. It's not alcoholism, and can release GABA, not aggression, can release relaxation. So we are going to discuss that with specific terms to the way we have discussed Top Gun in the class. Now, I want you to make sure that when we are discussing the biological level, you need to mention stuff related to the HPA axis. What is the HPA axis? It is the axis that's related to hypothalamus. This is the hypothalamus, the male hypothalamus and the female hypothalamus, or this side and this side of the hypothalamus in our body. So this is the hypothalamus. Under the hypothalamus, it's another gland which is called the pituitary gland that secretes many different hormones, or it's actually triggering the body parts to secrete hormones. And this is the pituitary gland here, straight behind your eye. And it's very important to understand that this has two parts. The one that gives the hormone down to the body, here, and the other one, we don't need to know much biology, but the other one here, that's receiving the blood from the kidneys and tests, is it okay? Does it have enough needed hormone? and then correlates and increases or stops the secretion of the hormone. So it's a circle. So this axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal cortex axis, it's called the HPA axis. It's the axis that takes the order from the hypothalamus to secrete some initial hormones to the pituitary gland that's firing the production of adrenaline or cortisol from the adrenal glands. So here it's the place where epinephrine is created and norepinephrine, the adrenaline and the noradrenaline, which arouse us and give us strong emotions, which are creating the fight or flight feeling. Sometimes they can also, except of adrenaline, secrete cortisol. I'm sorry for the way I'm writing. Here I'm using the mouse and you can hear the sound, but it is something I need to draw. So they secrete, except of adrenaline, cortisol, the stress hormone. Very important for us to understand how this is working. And also I need you to go back now to the site and be able to see and use, if you don't understand how it is happening, all the videos I saw you. So again, back in the site, this is the video that will help you to understand the HPA axis. It's a much better, long, explained by a biologist, and you can understand also by watching this video how the adrenaline function is impacting on our body parts, what it's doing to my muscles, to my heart, to my lungs, to my brain or to my bowel. And of course you can see as well, as part of the discussion, you need to know how the dopamine can really speak to your front lobes and make you feel good when you eat an apple or you drink. And this is something you learned constantly throughout your life. And you are training your brain to react in a specific way when you're using these dopamine functions, the roots of the dopamine. Now we have to go back to our PowerPoint. I'm sorry about this transition. And so we have discussed all this and the HPA axis and the side. And once you have mentioned all the HPA axis function, you can then start talking about the hormones that are released in the body. For example, you can talk about the testosterone that is secreted when MacGyver is ready to court, for the courtship, ready to serenade Charlotte. And you will see that actually Charlotte is feeling somehow attracted, but not to the level MacGyver is, because the progesterone, the female hormone, are working in a different way. So he has testosterone, MacGyver, remember that, which is related to his sexual behavior, and it is also related to the aggression level. This is why he's a good fighter, because he has testosterone. He is a male, the way we have been created since the beginning of the time. So you can also discuss adrenaline, which is involved in the way our autonomous, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system works. And adrenaline can make you be upbeat and feel like fighting, but at the same time can tell you, relax, it's time to fly, go away. please watch the video on the adrenaline. Watch the video I just showed you before. And of course you can discuss the cortisol levels, which are the stress hormones. If I have constant adrenaline and I'm stressed, what can impact my life. So in those two scenarios we're discussing, if adrenaline works for MacGyver, Harry is having cortisol secreted more into his bloodstream because he's constantly worrying, he's constantly anxious. And we can understand the difference in the behavior of MacGyver and Harry. MacGyver doesn't worry. He doesn't have cortisol. He's full of adrenaline though. So when you need to discuss these hormones at the biological level, I want you to understand that except the adrenaline and the cortisol, there are neurotransmitters that make us feel good, and you can discuss them. Like when you feel loved or loving, oxytocin is secreted, or serotonin when you're feeling good, when you're feeling ready to eat, ready to have sex, or not aggressive at all. The GABA, that the one that's relaxing you and make you calm, which is related to alcohol. And of course the dopamine. Again, I say, repeat, watch the video to understand more. They will tell much more than I can spend the time to discuss. And now everything has been put in a place. Now my brain has sent the messages to my bloodstream, and my bloodstream is full of adrenaline, and I'm upbeat and relaxed. I'm ready to serenade. I'm a MacGyver, and I'm ready to serenade Charlotte. Or I am Harry, stressed from my work and anxious all the time. Now you can speak about the physiological changes on my body. So you can speak about what happens to my energy levels, to the heartbeat, to the blood pressure, to the sweat, to my respiration. So all this can be mentioned now. If he is tired, if he is full of appetite or not. And you can refer to somatization of symptoms, like Harry is feeling dizzy, or some people in other scenarios, they feel like responding with stomach pains and headaches. All that could be symptoms of somatized stress or anxiety. For example, when MacGyver is full of adrenaline trying to fly his aeroplane, he has pupil dilation, or he is respiring, that's why he's sweaty, because he needs to cool down his system. So all this knowledge of biology will help you to respond at an A level, this biological response. And then you can mention how the biological level actually can impact on your basic processes, because you cannot think, you cannot have a positive cognitive way of dealing with these situations when you're stressed, when your heart rate is pumping like crazy. So I want you to remember that in the basic process we are discussing about learning and cognition situations. Learning refers to how I have learned from my previous experiences to deal with situations. Am I feared and am I full of in stressing situations? Am I secreting adrenaline, or I am numbing? How I learned to deal with stress, or how can I unlearn the bad ways, and learn new ways, and how I'm thinking with regards to my past experience, how I have processed that in my memories, in my cognition, and in my perception. So all these processes, figuring the meaning of the words or planning, they're telling us what we are going to do next, yes, and how I'm going to respond to the stress or to the relaxation my brain sends around to my body with specific chemicals. So when you're talking about learning, you have to respond with terms we haven't learned as yet. We're going to learn them soon. That's why I'm going to revisit this with you. So you can respond with terms like classical conditioning, Classical conditioning is when something becomes a reflex to you. It's a type of learning where a stimulus or a cue precedes a pleasant or unpleasant event, and you make constant associations. So, for example, I see aeroplane, I'm scared because I have a fear of aeroplanes. Or I see a spider, screaming because I'm scared of that. Or I see ice cream and I'm drooling. The same situation. We have shown a dog a food and the dog just smelling the food and is drooling. This is a classical conditioning experiment. We're going to discuss it later with Pavlov. But then I don't want you to pay attention to the example now. We're going to refer to this later. If you can do that, you can. I can tell you another example so you can cope with this better, understanding this concept of the dog. If you have a dog or a cat, and you try and before feeding them, start hitting with your knife or with your spoon the can. Even the dog is far, far away from you, cannot see the can, and the cat is in the other room. By just listening the sound, they know that the food is there and they're coming, and that has become a reflex to them because they have learned that when they hear that sound, the food is coming. So first the sound proceeds and then the food is coming. This is a way we are classically, as a reflex, respond to situations. So some people who are completely stressed all the time, like Harry is stressed and full of anxiety, he has learned to respond to anxiety with numbness. He doesn't want to finish the work, or he feels that he is not good to finish the work. Or MacGyver has classically conditioned himself and his mind to serenade the girls. This works. So therefore as a reflex, he is trying to be cute, and he is trying to prepare the situation to serenade them. It comes as a reflex to him. And operant conditioning is something we have learned by rewards and punishment. So if the same example, MacGyver, the first time he serenaded a girl, he wasn't successful, he would have learned that, oh, this doesn't work, try another thing. But because he has learned from previous experiences that by serenading, by singing to the girls are feeling nice and relaxing, and they invite him closer, and then he has a chance to make a passion to them. He's using that technique. That's called operant condition, something you learned, modifying your behavior according to this. And of course, other kind of learning is observations. He has observed people being successful when they're acting cool or they're acting relaxing, and he's using the same technique, relaxing, smiling, cool. I want you to remember that we said acceptive learning, cognition, thinking is the other part of basic processes, is our thoughts, how we process these thoughts, okay, how we thinking to solve the problems. And this is something that can allow you to mention perceptions, how people interpret, how select and organize the information they see. And you have to understand that people can do the same, they receive the same sensory information, but they analyze it in a different way, according to their thoughts. I see a snake and I jump up to the table to be safe. My brother sees a snake and takes a stick and hits the snake. So these are two different ways of acting, of thinking, reacting, interpreting the situation. And therefore my brother never is scared of the snake. He has learned not to be scared. We have learned whereas I have learned to be scared of the snake. The same happens with emotions. You have a place here to mention emotions. You can say that because I saw that snake when I was a child and I was scared, I always scared when I see snakes. Harry is feeling, he has the emotion of inadequacy, he is feeling inadequate because he cannot finish the work. MacGyver is feeling successful, he is feeling the top of the world, he is feeling happy because of his subjective experience, because of him being the top gun. And also you can mention in this case motivations. So MacGyver has a motivation which is coming through his route of thinking. He has a motivation to flirt the girl, serenade the girl, and this motivation is the bet. And he has done it as part of his routine. It's not something important. It's not a girl that he really would consider for anything else. It's the bet that motivates him. And that influences his drive. So you can mention that in these basic processes of MacGyver. Last but not least, the memory. So in the cognition, in the thinking process, you can bring into past memories. Harry, because he has failed, because he is not happy, because his boss is not happy with him, has that memory, and he feels that the next part, the next activity will be also a failure. So this is what you really can mention the basic processes, and here are some other examples. For example, the unrealistic fear of the snakes or open spaces can be better understood through considering that this person, when has a memory, bad memory of open spaces, and was a child left alone in an open space in the middle of the desert, and that memory is taunting and it's scared, and this learning that moment was a traumatic one, and now the boy is scared that if I'm in open spaces like a desert, I will be terrified again. So the thoughts that take in place will be stressful thoughts, and these stressful thoughts can increase the secretion of adrenaline or cortisol, stress hormone, which is can impact the biological level. So this is the correlation I want you to be able to demonstrate when you're writing things. And of course, if a person is doing that all his life, is stressed, constant stress person, can influence the behavior. So when you discuss about personal level, you need to look the influences this person has received and how these influences are individual, different from person to person, and how they impact on this person's behavior. So you can mention personality types or traits. For example, you can say that Harry doesn't have any grit, doesn't have any specific trait which the tennis player has, and the tennis player is exposed in Wimbledon or in Open Australia to people watching him again, and he's losing 5 sets, and he has the grit as a personality to pick up his ruins and fight back and win. This against a stadium that it is booing. This is a personality trait. So you can mention that. Personality trait is to be open, extroverted or introverted. Personality trait is to be unstable and neurotic, being scared all the time. Personality trait is to be constantly happy. Having the perception happy-go-lucky in the basic process, you have made that, may have made that as part of your trait, as part of your personality. And this is something that you really can use all the time with reference to your examples and report them as individual differences, personal differences, idiosyncratic, we call them, differences. Idiosyncrasy is the word. At the same time, you can report characteristics like intelligence, high IQ, and or other kind of intelligences like musical, mathematical, or physical intelligence. For example, MacGyver, the Top Gun man, except of all the other personal characteristics like being extroverted and others, or being friendly and being brave and being open and all these things, he has physical intelligence. He's reacting very quickly. He has a high IQ because he is making many mathematical calculations in the mind, and he is clever. He likes arguing with the people. It's like a battle of the minds, the debate skills he has. So all these are things that you can mention. Harry, for example, in the Harry question, is the opposite. He's a scared person. He's a neurotic, unstable, and emotional person who is thinking that people are really don't like him. That's why he is trying to be liked by doing what they want him to do. And of course you can discuss gender, age, class, and education. Men are reacting different. Young men are reacting full of testosterone. Young men who are not educated are acting more aggressive to young men who are educated. Young men, uneducated, of a lower class, acting fairly. So you understand how this can be a personal and idiosyncratic response. And of course personal references make things completely different, because we can have a young male of lower class with no education, and because the personal preference could be to be polite, or has been brought up, has learned in his life to be polite, this person may not be aggressive. So all this, with regards to the scenario they're giving you every time, they finish off the social level, but the personal level, but you cannot discuss the personal level unless you correlate it to the socio-cultural level, because it is the influence the others have on our behavior. If I go back to the previous slide, I want you to understand, if I go to the previous slide, I want you to see that the personal level of information has the individual differences. Discuss about the individual differences on behavior. I'm behaving like this because I am a personality, whereas the social cultural is again the influence of the others on our behavior. So I want you to remember that we need to correlate and discuss the personal level with regards to the impact the others have to our personality. Okay. For example, I'm having my specific personality because of what my family, my mother, my father, my friends, and my peers have done to my personality. They may have made me angry or relaxed, open or closed, neurotic or stable. And of course, The broader community I live has an impact on me. Being a Greek has huge impact on my personality. The societal expectations are also important. For example, I think I have told you, when I was in Greece, the societal expectation was to get married. In Australia, the societal expectations at the same time for females was to study. My mother, though, being German in Greece at the time, has actually placed a social expectation to me different to the one from broader community. Because we had the socio-economic status that needed upgrade, we were poor. My only way, and my parents could not offer dowry to marry me, my only way was to get education. So I will get some kind of dowry through my wage. Religion is the same, has huge impact because it's a broader community that puts social expectations. The family and friends and peers are impacting onto that, especially if all of them, they have the same religion. And religions can be barriers, like in Greece, Greek Orthodox girl could not marry a Catholic Christian or a Protestant Christian or a Muslim even more. The ethnicity, we are Greeks, we do this, we are Germans, we do this, we are Australians, we do this. And of course the culture and the cultural capital that's brought with that. So it's the way you have brought up, the customs, the values you brought up with. And of course all the socio-economic influences that they're different, not because one belongs to a specific class, but because of the individual times. So even the higher socio-economic class in times of crisis change their behavior. Okay, they are more specific. And of course the stereotypes need to be understood. Sometimes people are working with stereotypes. The woman has to get married, has to look after the children. The man has to be the main breadwinner. These stereotypes are changing in our society, but not in all the ethnicities, not in all the cultures of Australia. This can happen. I don't imagine ever I can have a Muslim male accepting to be a homestead dad at this stage, even if they live in Australia for many years. And this is a stereotypical male response of the Muslim male. So I want you to be able to understand that and interpret it with your scenario. For example, MacGyver. He's acting as the stereotypical male warrior, the fighter, the first 1%, the best of the best. His societal expectation, his small society expectation, his fears, is that he has to act the way he's acting. His culture, the American white Protestant culture, expects him to be the hunter. His broader community expects him to be the hunter. So you understand why he is so open into flirting and approaching Charlotte the way he's approaching her, and the way he's reacting when he realizes that she has a PhD in astrophysics and that he sees his I think the field scientists that they work with the fighters. Now, I want you to understand that when you are going to be given a 4 levels of explanation question you have to answer, there's a specific way. You read the scenario and you use it as a base, and you write notes the way we did it on the board, the way we wrote down and identify in that cross thing we did on the board. This goes to the personal level, this goes to the basic process, to the biological level, and see if things that can cross out, and if they can cross out, you use them as connectors, passing from the one level to the other. Refer to its level, showing as much knowledge of the psychological terms you know and of the things you have learned, and refer showing as much evaluation of the situation you can, using psychological terms in an effort to explain why things are happening. Okay, try and show cause and effect relationship. So, I have the example here with Maverick, why he serenades Charlotte, but I can give you another example. I am stressed and I'm eating my chocolate because I have learned that eating chocolate is relaxing me. So if you're going to explain to the biological level my obesity, you can say probably she has learned to use the chocolate as a relaxation technique in her stress, and therefore now she has ended up being obese. And she is thinking that it is okay as long as it's relaxing me. And this has impacted on her personality. She is in denial of eating for comfort. Things like that. You have to blend them all together. Last but not least, I want you to use the handout I gave you the first day. I have it in the following slides because you need to learn to use the proper words. We call them keywords, okay? And you can take it further for a higher grade by suggesting the way the person can change their behavior, alternate by using the keywords we need to use in these cases. You can if you know these words, you can change them around, but you need to practice. For example, in the biological level, we're going to discuss genetics, the disposition, for example, a stressful fetal birth condition, mental illnesses, substance abuse, but we can suggest ways. For example, Harry is full of anxiety. He could use exercise to relax, okay? Let's go to the example and see what I'm talking about. In this example, in the example of the good answer, this person has responded by demonstrating the physiological symptoms associated with anxiety that they reported into the scenario: dizziness, trembling heartbeat, and continues with an explanation because her body is responding to the current worries about money, health, family, and work deadlines. So that's an indication of stress. So it goes in general, facing challenging situations, body prepared to react, run away from this. She may have got it wrong, but she has connected very well with the flight and fight. I would never go and discuss flight and fight response, but the way she has connected that, it's okay. In the scenario, it doesn't say that he's avoiding the work. He says he's anxious. Personally, I wouldn't take it to fight or flight response. Personally, I would finish up to deadlines. And then here, and then instead of having the next, I would say in similar situations when people are worried, the hypothalamus, the control center of the brain, passes to the nervous system, through the hypothalamus or the HPA axis the order to the body to produce the stress hormone, cortisol. So I wouldn't say adrenaline, I would say cortisol. But if I see a response like this, because it's very well transferred with this part, you see? She's explaining here. She's explaining why she's talking about adrenaline, fight or flight. I would say he's stressed because the body is secreting cortisol. So his pituitary gland, I would go straight there. And that, she's taking that to the physiological characteristics. So the bloodstream is full of cortisol, which is increasing his heart rate. Or I could go a different way, and I could say that because he has shortness of breath, rising heart rate, trembling and dizziness, that could be an indication. That could be an indication of here he has adrenaline secreted in the body. Yes? I would say this adrenaline is a result. We can verify that adrenaline is secreted in the body because he has shortness of breath, rising heartbeat, trembling and dizziness. Okay. And I want you to see how this person is passing very well the idea from the cortisol that's in the body to the way this person is thinking, to the basic process, that because he has too much adrenaline, he has too much cortisol, he is irritable all the time. Okay? Or he is thinking that he's not good. So now, in the basic process, we can have the low self-esteem. People think that they are not worthy. Okay? He's pessimistic, he has negative thinking style. Thinking style. If you say he has a negative thinking style, that's basic process. If you say he's a pessimist, that's a personal level. I don't want you to hear that in the basic processes you put terms like he's extroverted, he's pessimistic, he's optimistic. No. His thinking style is pessimistic. He is thinking negatively. This is the word I want to remember all the time. So you can say he has learned from past experiences that he cannot make his boss happy. So he has developed low self-esteem. He is not having a positive view of himself. He is not having confidence in his own strengths. That should be optimistic. And you can continue saying, but Harry should trust more his abilities, okay? And so he could develop self-esteem. This trust of instinct is very important when we're talking about MacGyver. May not apply to Harry, but I use the word. So if the word is there, use it. Remember and use it. So the same way this person has done the sandwich example, he's presenting in the personal level the anxiety. He is anxious about people liking him. Anxious about people liking him. He is experiencing that with his family and co-workers. I wouldn't put it here. I would put it into the social level. Worrying about almost everything, starting to think that he cannot do anything right. This is the key word. He thinks that he cannot do anything right. So he has low self-esteem. He has a pessimistic, negative and pessimistic thinking style. Okay, this is what we need. So he has a pessimistic thinking style. And we go by the ways he have learned in the past. Okay? How he has learned them? Through operant conditioning, because he was always not rewarded. And you see, solutions. If he was praised, that could change his behavior. Okay? Or he was praised from family. So solutions. Okay? You can take it another way. You can say he is thinking he's not worth it anything. He's not trusting himself. He has learned, probably from the past experience, that no, the male has to do specific things. The male has to work. The male has to bring the bread in the family. And because he is not so successful in the work, he feels that he's inadequate. And he's thinking that he's inadequate, and this contributes to his anxiety. You can say things like that. The next level is the poor problem-solving skills that could apply for Harry. Okay? So you can say that his hierarchy of needs is not met. He wants to be praised, he wants to be liked, he wants to achieving his personal best, but it's not met. So you can say probably Harry can change that if he will develop confidence in his own skills, abilities. Okay? He has to take care of himself and relax. He comes to a solution. He can start putting realistic plans and take it one step at a time. Sorry, now you can see what they have done here. This sticky word, the assertive. So he is not very assertive. Wants people to like him. He tries very hard to please co-workers. So you use the scenario. So the person here has responded using the traits of personality, and he is using the terms. You don't know them, you will learn them later. So he is neurotic. You can say that he is emotional. You can say he's unstable. And the person is trying to explain with the psychodynamic theory that he's feeling same, and why he's feeling same unconsciously, because he's the male who doesn't provide for the family, and this is increasing his anxiety. You can really find an argument around there. As a good lawyer, you can play around it. Okay? Or you can say he feels anxiety in the personality. We discuss about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as we saw earlier in the slide. Okay? This part down here, this part here. So you can say in the next slide, because he is a middle-aged man and he is not able to deal with the job and the family, he feels that he is not doing anything he would like to succeed in his life, and therefore he is feeling unworthy and he's not actualizing himself. Anything you want. If you present it correct, it is correct. And last but not least, the social level. So you can discuss issues that could come from the family, friends, media environment, and you can describe using all these words as well. So you can say he feels anxiety, Harry, because he doesn't have a caring and supportive relationship within his family. He cannot be supported by them. He worries about them. He worries about the money, or he's not reassured. He doesn't feel loved, or he may be not feeling social competent. He is scared that because the boss is not like him, he is scared that he will be unemployed. That's why increases his anxiety. This could be a situation that he has learned because he had previous failures in the job or in the school. So whatever you want would be a good way to present the stuff. Just improvise, just write an essay. There is a recipe, and I thought I gave you a method in this video. I know it is long, but it incorporates almost 3 or 4 lessons, and it is for those who came late. Additionally, I want you to be reassured that we will have another practice before the test. Thank you.